Okay, great. So we're going to start off. We are going to start off with a square real quick, and then
Yep,
three.
that's fine.
And this is our fifth episode. And what are we talking about today, real
We are
quick?
talking about every day can be you
The
December 31st.
December 31st. Okay, gotcha. All right. Hey, everybody. This is Regina Says. That's Public Square. This is the last broadcast of 2021. Interestingly enough, that's me, by the way. This is Glenn Curry, along, of course, with our hostess. That's Regina for her Regina Says. And Regina, today, we're going to talk about something that, we're going to be celebrating the 31st.
Yes.
Which is coming up in 2 days. But you're going to talk about how every day can be the 31st. Explain that, first of all.
Amen. So every day can be your 31st. Has to do with carrying on a different mentality. It's always about what you think, and how can you change your mentality. So 31st of December in the United States of America is a day of resolutions. It's a day that people see the end of something and the beginning of something.
Right.
And I think most everybody have that mentality. It's something that nobody has to teach you that. It's the end of the year, the calendar year, and it's also the beginning of relationships. I have people in my life that they're like, oh, I had to be with this person because, it's the end of the year and I want to begin the year with that person. Well, we do that every day. You begin something, you end something. But I think having the mentality and the thinking that can be every day of your life. Today, people are going to die. Babies are going to be born. People are going to move from one place to the other. So many things are happening right now in humanity, right now. And we don't think about it. We're just thinking about what you are doing. We don't stop and think about like, oh my gosh, there's people that are moving right now. They are renting a U-Haul to go move to another place. And they didn't plan on it. It just happens if they're military. They just need to move and think about it. In the middle of winter, people are moving. So that's what is every day could be your December 31st. Yep.
So and obviously, the one thing is that people say they're going to go to Planet Fitness, so they're going to sign up for a whole year. I know a guy that goes there for religiously, and he says the first couple of weeks it's packed,
It's packed.
and then people give up. So why do people give up on their resolution, in your opinion, Regina?
And I don't know why people give up. I think the hype and the idea of having a resolution is greater in the mind because it's the 31st, because they have it like present. But if you have that in your mind that every day you can begin and every day you can stop something, then it's not about the date. I was researching this morning and there's 40 calendars right now in the whole world that are happening. 40 different calendars. We Americans think there's only our calendar that is called, let me read because I don't remember, the Georgian calendar.
Okay.
Gregorian calendar.
Gregorian, yes.
Gregorian. You know what that is?
Well, I just know. I mean, we're the pagan, whatever. They have a lot of calendars.
Yeah.
The Hebrews have their calendars.
Yep,
We
yep.
have ours. Ours is based on the birth of Christ.
Yep.
People. But at the end of the day, I mean, we could talk about religion all along. There's 365 days out of the year. We figured that out a long time ago.
Yeah.
And yet, people like the Chinese, they celebrate their New Year's at a completely different time.
Exactly.
So 40 different calendars. I didn't know that many calendars though.
40
Regina.
different calendars working right now. Like we are here and we think about our calendar, but there's people, millions of people around the world using different calendars. So that gives you perspective of how small our account is compared to probably the account of other people. So with that mentality, we knowing that there's so many other humans with a different perspective, why not us get a little bit of that perspective? I don't know much about the Chinese calendar, but I know the way they use it. And most calendars, by the way, are created because of religious beliefs. Most calendars that we follow all over the world have to do more about religious beliefs than anything else. It's a tool that is used for people to remember, to commemorate. It's a tool that is used for people to measure in things that have to do with the ¿cómo se dice? Los productos que uno cosecha. with the crops.
Yeah. Oh, right.
With the crops.
Farmers. Yeah. Right.
Yes,
The harvest.
The harvest.
Right.
That's the word. So all these things that people usually don't even think about, but that's the reason we have calendars, is to celebrate and to commemorate our gods. I'm going to say our gods because people have different gods.
Sure.
My God is my God, but I'm talking about humanity in general. So that should move us to be more on point and more direct, that we want to make our life different. Like, imagine if today's Wednesday, right?
Yep.
And
Hump day.
the hump day.
Yeah.
I love it. I got that term when I moved
What
here.
day is it? Sorry.
Hump day. Yes. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is wonderful, because a hump goes up and then goes down. So imagine if today you are in a bad relationship, you are considering leaving. There's so many people that right now, there's women that are being beat up right now. There's kids that are being abused right now. And there's also people that are going to get married today in the hump day. So imagine if you decide that today is going to be your December 31st, that you don't have to wait for something to end.
Right.
By the means of others, and you make your own ending, you make your own beginning, and have that excitement that happened in this December 31st. I'm going to be sleeping this year.
Right. So am I.
I don't want excitement this year. But imagine if you go like, you know what? Today is my December 31st. This is over. I'm going to move on, and I'm going to do something different. I was researching how many adults are going to university, are going to college. They never went to college. They raised their kids and all that, and they decide that they want to go to college. Like the percentage is like 37% or something like that of adults, people that never have a degree. They're going to die with a degree, but they did because that was something they wanted to do.
Sure.
They had to have a December 31st in their life. They had to have that day that they say, okay, I'm going to do this today. It's done.
Yeah, and again, that said, because the actual end of the calendar year also includes the holidays, and a lot of people eat a lot during the holidays. The days are shorter, so I really think, Regina, there's a reflection on this time of year. We're so conditioned to restart again, and then, like I said, with the scenario,
And it doesn't last enough.
It doesn't last enough. So why is that?
I think the reason is because it's a hype. It's just when you do things and you're like, there.
Right.
And then life happens.
Right.
Because during the holidays, I mean, in Puerto Rico, we have the longest Christmas ever. Like people,
You do. That's right. You
Yes.
go through a little Christmas, which is January 6th.
Yes, we do Three Kings Day.
Yeah. Nice.
We do Three Kings Days. After that is something called the Octavitas. That's eight days that people just drink, and like Christmas
Doesn't end.
No, it starts in Thanksgiving too. We don't start in December. We begin in Thanksgiving. There's pasteles. The food is made, and it's a mentality. I have a cousin that works in a government, and I asked my sister. I said, "When is so and so going back to Puerto Rico?" She said, "Oh, the 18th of January." I'm like, "Oh my gosh."
Yeah, it's a long time. Well, college kids stay home for a long time too. So it kind of corresponds.
I think that's why we do it. We just celebrate anything. That's what Puerto Rico do. But that mentality, again, with your question, is that you start with a hype, but you don't have a plan,
Right.
and you don't remember life is happening as I'm doing this. But you can always start again. The Bible says that 7 times the just will fall, and 7 times the Lord will, raise them up. So a day.
Right. So, does that mean we have, like cats, we have 7 lives? Is that how does that work?
The number 7 has to do with the number of perfection of God.
Interesting.
So it just teaches us, it's the Jewish culture that we're going to fall, but we can get up. And I think that's what people don't have. Like Planet Fitness, I know a couple people that buy the whole year.
Yeah, sure.
And they only
place.
go a month. And then I like that Planet Fitness just take their money
They do.
Give them a hard time to return.
Yeah, and it's not just that. It's Weight Watchers, other other places that kowtow to people's emotions. You ate a lot during the. You get ready for the springtime and summer. Get into that bikini.
Yes,
again. So we're
yeah.
conditioned, Regina.
It is the conditioning, and it is the lack of purpose. Like there's a lack of purpose in the decisions that we're making. So you're not making a decision because it's something for you. You're making a decision without even knowing that you're following a crowd,
Right.
and you're trying to do what is being acceptable to do. And that mentality disempowers you. I think that you get empowered when you say, okay, I'm going to do this.
Right.
And, people stop announcing everything that you're going to do. Just do it.
I so agree with you with that statement, because a lot of people say, "Oh, I've had enough of Facebook. I'm going to take a break now." How often do you see that? And you have to like it. It's almost like a 5-year-old kid leaving.
Yeah.
Okay, go right ahead.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, real quick, and I'll be quick about this. I saw something the other day that says, just because people are doing better than you, because everyone's so overwhelmed, they're doing better than me, they're making more money than I am. It made a good statement. It said, but you're still better than you were last year. So that kind of falls into what we're talking about now. You got to take things one day at a time and 1 year at a time and say, are you better off now than you were last year, Regina?
Well, that define better. That's a difficult term to define. If you are looking, your competition should be yourself, not the people around you. Everybody's different, have their circumstances. But if you look at yourself and you see yourself in your own better. What is better for me? What pleases me? What gives me the opportunity to do what I want to do and the way I want to do it, and be able to benefit the people around me? Like, what is my function around the people that compile my world? What is my world? And what is my function within that world that we have? The Bible says that we have to go around the world and spread the message of Jesus. And it's so many people is like thinking about missions in Africa and other places.
Sure.
Your world is where you are situated. For example, the military people that we have so many around here, their world right now is this area. But besides that, when they move, they have another world. They're going to enter another space with another kind of peoples, and they're just going to have new relationships, and that's life.
Yeah, it is. And not to mention, at any given time, they could be deployed to a spot they've never been to. And then the family and kids are left behind.
Yes.
So real quick, should we treat every month like the 31st or every day? Could we change our life in July just like we would at the end of December?
Yes. I think you can. Think about, like, if you don't have a family member that is here, that is important to you, and it's Christmas or Three Kings Day, what you can do, you can move it to another day. It's okay. The same thing with the birthdays. Like, we are so the machine of marketing is so
wrapped up
intense.
Conditioned, like we said.
And then okay, it has to be this day. It has to be this day. No, it doesn't. It has to be the day that accommodates to you. The days were made for you. You were not made for the days.
Right.
That's biblical principle. Like Jesus is healing in a Sabbath, and in those days you could not do anything in the Sabbath. And he said, okay, if you lose an animal, meaning your food, your help, what you're gonna do? You're gonna let it die there? No, you're gonna go and rescue the animal, because the day is a gift for us. We are not a gift to the day. The day is made for us. The car is made for you. The money is made for you to use it in order to serve you. We are serving so many things that are not what the intended purpose of you being here.
So, what you're talking about, Regina, is that you should always look at a new beginning at any given time. As opposed to what dictates, like, no, you can't change now. It's September. You got to wait 3 months. You could do it at any time.
So last night I was watching some videos of, I think his name is Louis Farrakhan? Yes.
Okay. The calypso singer. He was a calypso. He was very good at it too.
Yeah. Well,
so was Harry Belafonte. Go
yeah.
ahead.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah.
Generational gap here.
Yeah. Oh, you don't know Harry Belafonte?
No, I
Oh,
have
he was
heard the name, but I don't know
he's
who
very
he
good.
is.
Good actor, too.
So, anyways, I was watching some videos of, because I like to see what people see and
Sure.
the crazy things that people say.
Yeah.
and people go, "Ah!"
No, I know.
I'm like, oh my gosh, he's incredible.
He does say some stuff, but he's extremely intelligent.
He's
man.
extremely intelligent,
Yeah.
and there's many people that are extremely intelligent. It's what you consume,
Mm-hmm.
and so we are. I think everybody's intelligent. It's what do you consume and what do you use that intelligence for?
Sure.
And when
point.
you can hear his intelligence being used, because you hear it being
Definitely.
used.
The way he speaks,
It's
very articulate.
It's articulate, and people are like, "Ugh."
Yeah, but
I'm
what is he
like,
saying?
what is he saying? It's so interesting to me, and
no.
you can see really the intentions of the words, the way they are put together,
Sure.
and that's, you have to be a good listener, and I don't think we are good listeners. I think we just hear things and words, and we get fascinated by our terms, and oh yeah, this said, and I'm proving this, and I don't know about
Not
that.
really. So you were very selective in as far as accepting what he was saying, but,
Oh, yeah.
but you still respected what he was saying.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, the man is articulate. He knows what he's doing,
He
and
does.
I'm like, wow, you can learn so much of the way to present an idea and things like that.
Right.
But I was listening to him, and I'm also like looking at the times and how the calendar of our lives play out. So one of the interviews I watched, it was with, I think it's Carson, the man that has like white hair like you, that it was Donahue.
Oh, Phil Donahue.
Yes,
That was a long time ago when he had him
Yeah.
on his show. It was very controversial because
because it was the O.J. Simpson trial.
Oh, geez, back in
so
the
it
90s.
was in 90s. It was
yeah,
after
sure.
O.J. Simpson was declared
Acquitted.
Yeah.
Right.
So I
Which
was
was in 95, by the way.
Yes, I was watching 95.
Yeah, October 5th.
I was watching. Ooh.
I'm
not that-
It was a beautiful day.
I was watching that exchange, and I'm just thinking about the times. And I said the words that he used there, he cannot say them today
No.
at all.
No.
Because he will be like crucified.
That was exactly the word I was looking for.
Yes, he will be crucified.
Yeah.
And that's what 1995, we are in 2022 about to be there.
Sure.
And that's not a long time.
It's not.
But look how history has changed in this short period of time. Then you apply that to your own personal life. Like, what are you doing with your life? What is happening in your life? Can you look back and say like, oh, I was here and now I am here. How did I get from here to here? How did that happen? I was thinking this morning, I'm like, I think everybody should have the experience to go somewhere else and meet different people.
Sure.
And one of the things that are amazing about the United States is that you can do that in half hour. Literally, if you drive from here to half hour down in Evans Mills, you get to Evans Mills, you get to a Governor. It's a whole different world.
It really is. St. Lawrence County is a different world.
It's a different world. It's a different way of living. It's a thinking that people think so differently.
They do.
The same with Carthage and West Carthage.
Yeah.
It's like, why do they have so many stop signs and so many?
Right.
It's such a small place.
Right.
But the mentalities are so different. And I think it just gives us a rich cultural experience. Like, we don't have to take an airplane to have that,
Right.
but you can have it half hour because you care and you want to see different things. You want to see different people, and then see how you can learn from others and apply that to your life.
Yeah, and which is another reason why it's best to go away to college, regardless of what level you're at. You don't have to go in an Ivy League school just to get away. And a lot of kids experience that for the first time. They get to meet people of different creeds, different cultures. But like you're saying, Regina, you don't have to go too far to see something
No.
completely different around here.
No, you
Or
don't.
anywhere.
Exactly, anywhere. And that's a beauty in the United States. That's one of the things I really, really enjoyed.
How diverse it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's a gift. It's honestly a gift. But at the same time, how are you can receive something and don't know how to use it. So it's a gift that we need to learn how to use it and use it to our favor in order for us to bring change to ourselves and have that mentality. There's things, I mean, changing doesn't mean that you're wrong. Changing means you're evolving, and we are all evolving. It's part of our nature. It's what we do, and we do it even if we don't want to. It's happening.
Right. Whether we understand it or not, or we're contributing to it. Just like the weather changes, our hair grows. We got to change that. We don't like the way it looks. We change the color of it and whatnot. But again, the theme today of Regina is that a rebirth can happen at any time.
Anytime, and a death too. Just there's things that we need to kill in our lives. There's things that we need to choose to. You know what? I'm gonna try this without this. I'm going to try my life without whatever is that you need to take out. That we can see, and is so promoted for things like cigarettes, caffeine, and things like that.
Bad stuff.
That that's what we think. But there's good things that maybe we don't need too. There's things that how a person becomes a hoarder.
It's interesting. I see that show on A&E, whatever. How does a person become a hoarder? I think that there's earmarks of someone that could be a hoarder, but then it usually happens at an event in their life, a death in the family as they get older, and they don't want to give up, Regina.
Exactly.
Right.
That is the question, the answer. How does someone become a hoarder? It has nothing to do with age. It has nothing to do with gender. It has nothing to do with the environment. It has a lot to do with everything that I have, I need. It has a purpose in my life, and it has a space in my life. So most of the psychological has to do with a hole or a space that we cannot feel. So things tend to be the filler of that space, and then fear sets in that if you don't have that, you're gonna have that emptiness.
Exactly.
Well, how about we prepare for us to make decisions for that emptiness? You can do that. You can prepare yourself so things don't have the space of people. Things don't have that space. So I have heard a couple times people saying, when you have more than one child, they say, like, do you love them all the same? And many people say yes, but it's not true. We love them differently because they are different people. So we develop, I think, the people that have multiple children, we develop the capacity because we are born with it. Unless you have, some issues and just go to a therapist, you're gonna be okay. We develop, just gonna be okay. Relax.
That's
read
good
the
advice
Bible,
right
and that's
there.
it. Because it's like, oh no, this is so hard, so difficult. Find a way. Nothing is that hard. Nothing is that difficult. Really. Really, really, really. So if you are able to love 3 children, I have 3 children, and I have now 3 grandbabies. I love them individually with the same intensity and passion, but they are so different. So I love them in that capacity. If I can do that, you can do that. Anybody can do that because we are built to be able to do that. We are not born. Humanity wasn't created to be in so much chaos, but we have grown accustomed to chaos. We have grown accustomed to so much going on that we cannot handle it, and we feel like that I cannot handle this. Then put things on the side and just handle this much at this time.
Well, as far as hoarding is concerned, I know I watch those shows. A lot of people buy things they don't need, Regina. And they still go out. The house is filled with stuff, crap. You can't even walk in, and yet they still find the need to add more to it without using anything. What does that mean, in your opinion?
Well, it's trying to fill a void, but it's not only buying. There's people that go and just pick things from everywhere. So, to me, it's puzzling when I see somebody that is holding on to something that has no logic to it. So it's hard for me in my brain to comprehend. But Dr. Phil said...
There's that Dr. Phil guy.
Dr. Phil! He said something one time. He has said it many times. But he said, like, we cannot comprehend those kind of behaviors. Like, we cannot comprehend how a person is going to kill a child.
Yeah, right.
We cannot comprehend. And we're not supposed to.
No.
Because we're not stretched to that capacity.
Right.
But, I mean... compassion has to come up because I'm like, really? You wanna keep that pencil?
Right.
You're like 50 more.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Let it go.
It is frustrating to watch when you see them. It is frustrating.
It is. But also give us the a view to something that we could become that. We could see ourselves, save it. I have.
I know I have.
I seen people. I preach it from the altar. I said to all these women that go to Salvation Army and they have 50, 60 pairs of shoes. How many feet do you have? You had 2 feet.
Exactly.
How many places do you go? I get so overwhelmed because I think it just changes who you are. It just changes. Not to stop and say, like, why do I have 60 pairs of shoes? Why? Why do I need to? Oh, because they're pretty. Okay.
Yeah.
You can take a picture now and in your phone and then keep that because it's pretty. And it's puzzling to me that people don't look at themselves and say, like, what's going on with me?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
we don't take that time to say, like, why am I doing what I'm doing? Why, if I hear, and it makes sense when I hear it, but why I cannot do it? I have heard people say, like, when they were growing up, they didn't have shoes.
Amazing.
And I said, that past cannot be changed.
Right.
You didn't have shoes. Now you have the shoes that you need.
Right.
You didn't have shoes that you needed,
Right.
and now you have the shoes that you need. That should be the thought.
Right.
I have shoes that I need, the shoes I need. You can be luxurious a little bit more, but
Sure.
think about it. I had the experience of somebody dear to my heart, a lovely, lovely person, somebody that I love very much, and had a small apartment. And after this person passed, there was bags and bags and bags of stuff. Bags and bags of stuff. There's nothing else there. It's stuff. It's not her life. It wasn't her life. It wasn't her happiness. It was stuff that was taking the space of emptiness that was in this person's life. So I'm very, very. If I haven't used something for a year, it's probably going to go in the garbage.
Sure.
At some point, because that means you don't need it. Like people that keep things in storage, really,
Yeah.
years in storage.
Right,
Why?
right. Yeah.
Why?
I can never understand that.
You're rolling in your life with other things. You don't need that.
Right.
So
You don't.
anyway, December 31st is today. Clean your closet.
Yeah, clean your clothes. It's just like an Eminem song. But with the idea of like, okay, this could be a new beginning because it's the
Yes.
last day of the year, first day of the new year. But that can happen, like we said, at any given time.
Any given
so
time.
get out of your restricted world of saying, oh, this is not the time to make a change because it's in the middle of the month, it's in springtime, it's in fall, I gotta wait. You could do it any time, Regina.
Anytime. You need to do it. Just do it once. Start doing it the first time. Today, I'm going to change. Change is a bad word for many people because the connotation of it is like when you hear the word, this thing affected this,
Right.
they think it's a bad word. But change just means that things are going to be altered. They are going to be either altered up or
Right.
altered down,
Right.
like deeper than that.
We talked about changing habits over the course. Some people
Yes.
say it happens over 2 weeks. Some people say it's 6 weeks.
No, 63 days.
60. Why is it 63 days, Regina?
I don't know. Because
63 days is a long time, though.
yes, it is a long time. But when this doctor, Caroline Leaf is
Yeah.
her name. Like I
mentioned
have always heard and repeated 22 days or 21 days, but it didn't make sense to me because I could see myself going back after 21 days.
Sure.
It
Bad
happens.
habits.
So when you see the signs of the brain, the signs of the mind, and then there's that sign behind that change, you can see, oh, this makes sense. It's something that makes sense. When you see marketing around, when you see the way people, companies bombard you, they don't do it for 2 weeks. They're like, bam, bam,
Forever.
bam.
Yeah.
Like bombarding you with that word. It's always a word. It's always a song. It's always a beat that stays in your mind
Right.
and that occupies a space in your mind. It's taking space in your mind. So as I get older and I see more of that of awareness of what is in my mind. You see, I thought that your brain loses cells as you are getting older. But science says no, you can renew your brain at any time in your life, and you can add and add more. So more I want to read, more I want to learn, because it keeps you alert. But everything around you just wants you concentrated in lights, these little beautiful things that we have.
Yeah.
If you keep your life like this,
Yeah, right.
that's what your life is going to become, is
Right.
that space. And the only way that you're going to see yourself out of that is by going back to this.
Sure.
And then you hear the world of the Kardashians or the world
Yeah,
of other
yeah.
people and all
Right.
that. And
True.
when the news come, like, I remember when I was younger and I heard that it's not Whitney Houston. I think I told you the other day, Julian. Some actress, beautiful lady, was cheated on by her husband, and
Sandra Bullock?
no, it was an African American.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's say that it was Whitney Houston. She was too, and
Yeah, sure.
and I remember I was in Puerto Rico. I was young, and I said, "Oh my gosh." The husband cheated on her.
Yeah.
She's gorgeous.
I
She's
know.
successful. She's
Right.
amazing. Oh my gosh, what man is gonna be faithful?
I know.
Because we don't see those parts. We concentrate in like the glamour and all that. They're just people like us,
Yeah.
and they go through things like we do, but they do it more publicly than we do. But I think we should be intentional in change. We just have to do it. You have to do it.
Well, I mean, within context of what's been going on in the world in the last almost 2 years now, a lot of people have changed. A lot of people have changed their jobs, their careers, not just because they didn't want to get a vaccination, whichever. They saw that opportunity. But a lot of people aren't. So I got to ask you this, Regina, in your congregation, and you don't have to get into details because it's no one's business, but for the most part, what are people challenged by the most these days as far as change is concerned?
I think a lot of what's happening is like feeling the pressure that we are receiving, and I will say the manipulation, like
Yeah.
like if there's no other solution, and then all of a sudden, oh, we could do this. Oh,
Right.
we were wrong.
Right.
This should be like that.
Right.
I mean, like,
It's frustrating.
it is. It is frustrating, and it is when we are thinkers.
Right.
Your personal vision, you cannot just stay in this time. This produces this, and then after that produces something else. The
Right.
possibilities of what is to come is not as beautiful as many people think.
Right. True.
Like, I love cruising. I love going to cruises. And the other day I received an email that says, prepare your cruise for 2023. And I'm like,
Wow.
if you're telling me that,
Yeah.
it's because 2022 is not going to be brighter in cruising life.
Right.
So I'm
took a
like,
hit.
ooh, yes. I'm like, oh my gosh, when 2023 comes around, the cruises are going to be super expensive because they had to, make up for margins and all that. But that one email just impacted me so much, because it's like, we are not even in 2022 yet,
Yeah.
and they are already ready. So they know things that I don't know, but
Right.
I don't need to know. I know they know.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
that gives me that okay, we're
Right.
going to take a little bit longer. Poor Julian has never been in a cruise.
I have, and they are great. You're kind of a
love
prisoner to the ship wherever you're going, but it's a tough time to be in the cruise
Yes,
business. That's for
yes,
sure. But you
yes.
love cruises, and you love being around people.
I do.
And again, you've seen so much as a young mom. You've talked about your story right here on Regina Says, coming over here with nothing, but you love this country, and not only that, but you love the cold. And not many people who've lived here all their lives could say that. Regina. So you're a living example of someone that has just found a new home here, which is amazing.
Yeah, I was surprised. I'm like, how did I live in Puerto Rico for almost 30 years?
But you love it. You always go back there.
I like it. I like the life in Puerto Rico. Right now, things are not that well. I think they're killing a lot of young people.
How so, if you don't mind me asking?
Just wars with drugs and young people.
Same stuff that we got right here.
Yeah, the value of life, I think, is so. Life is like, woo! It doesn't have weight anymore to young people the way it used to. But I guess this happens all the time, We
Yeah.
have seasons in Christmas in Puerto Rico, like the past 4 years, 5 years, the news were not good. Like even in the 31st, a lot of people shoot with guns
Yeah.
to the air. Many people die because
sure.
the bullets and things like
my
that.
God.
But they just did.
Like 2 days from now, they're going to be shooting up in the air on New Year's
Yeah.
Eve to celebrate.
Yeah.
And then the bullets come down and someone
Yes,
inevitably gets
some
killed
kids,
or hurt.
Yeah,
Oh, my
usually
goodness
happens.
gracious.
But I just read quickly that some teenagers were killed, and it's just drugs,
right.
and that life that is seems so appealing to so many young people, and I think we have the capacity to show them different. I think that's what we need to do, show them different, and that everything that we see in the screen is not true.
Right. Yeah, I got to ask you. I know we talked about this on our last show. West Side Story or West Side Story. Have you seen it?
No, I won't.
You won't see it.
No.
And Julian, I got to ask you, Julian, did you see West Side Story? The first one, of course, the
Yeah, I
first
did.
one is, but they're saying that the second one, the remake by
Did
Steven
you go?
Spielberg. No, I want to see it. I just we've been in and out of the house, and
You know what I
got-
watched?
Yeah, go ahead.
I went with Julian to watch The Matrix.
You did, The Matrix. I heard it-
Resurrection.
was,
Woo!
was it as good as the originals? Or?
I think it's amazing.
Okay.
I just love Keanu Reeves and,
Yeah.
and his thing. But
Yeah.
The Matrix just presents to you what we are feeling and seeing. There's not only one plane. There's many planes, dimensions of life, and it gives you that. I think it sparks the imagination that we were born with, and for change, we need to use our imagination.
We definitely do.
we
Let,
know-
let me go back to real quick because you talked a little bit earlier about Louis Farrakhan. I know that you're the type of person, Regina, that gives people a chance, an opportunity.
Yeah.
It's also knowledge is power. So if you know the history about Hitler, for instance, not to make comparisons, he wasn't a good man, but he was a legacy in history.
And he was a smart man.
He was a very smart man, and you have to be smart in order to be a
Yes.
dictator to take over. Saddam Hussein, he had a photographic memory. He was just crazy. Louis Farrakhan, he's extremely smart, extremely articulate. He has that almost southern appeal because he wears the bow tie he used to, and the way he talks and his glasses, mother, women, and children, and whatnot. But his message sometimes is very, it's not very kind. But at the same time, Regina, you listen to him because you're an accepting person because you want to hear both sides of any given story.
I do. And I mentioned, I think it was the second time we met like this. I said, everybody that is a leader that has influence on people, you need to know what the person that doesn't think like you
Right,
is
you
thinking.
did mention that, yeah.
That's how you that's what I think you're smart. That's like, I will say he's very articulate. Today, I don't know if people know this, but you just memorize words and you sound smart. Doesn't mean you're smart.
It's true.
You can sound smart.
Right.
And you can be totally street dump.
Right.
You can't think.
You could be a Hollywood actor.
Exactly. And so you have to take care of your own knowledge and see the other way and see why people think that way. That is what we can do for ourselves, and also to love others. Like, if you don't come and think like me, it's okay, but we can have a conversation. I'm going to ask you a million questions
Sure.
because I ask questions. That's how you learn about other people.
Right.
Ask questions, engage with them in conversation, and just love on people. It's easy.
Well, I happen to watch a lot of look at a lot of social media, the divide that we see in the country, and more and more people are seeking to separate ourselves because of the division, which is the worst thing in the world. Which is another reason why you should see Regina Says, an open book on a regular basis, because Regina, you're a living example of someone that is accepting of everything, to the point where, regardless of what we look like and who we pray to, we're all people at the end of the day, Regina.
We are all humans. We are all humans. That's who we are. And the more we learn about what had happened already, the easier we can look at this scenario right now and know that something good is going to come out eventually, and
Right.
that is happening right now. But you have to be part of that mix of humanity that is going to bring forth something great. So.
But it's a shame that you mentioned earlier that we're going back down to Puerto Rico, your home country, and that you've noticed, you're a young person, by the way, Regina, that you've seen a change in generations where young people seem to have less hope. What's going on there, and how can that change? And that's going on here too, by the way.
It's everywhere,
Yeah.
and it's a different generation. One of my prayers is to understand different generations, not only the
Yours.
ones forward,
Right.
but also the one before, because knowledge is power,
Mm-hmm,
and it doesn't have to be a book. You can learn so much just talking to an older person. If you are 75, 85 years old, you have seen so much change.
You have.
You saw when the computer came up and it was this big,
Right.
and then
Right,
you
right.
saw how like now we have this, and you saw how when I think about nurses, the profession of nursing is insane.
It is.
They have to continually be updated, like from doing everything by hand and writing with a pencil to
The pads.
today. Oh my gosh, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
And I admire them so much because they have to keep updated, and they do. They
Right.
do. And they keep loving their profession, so it's pretty neat.
It really is. It's amazing the aspect of caring
Yes.
and going through the training and whatnot, going to schooling.
Exactly.
Right down, I don't care what you are, LPN, RN.
Yes.
If you're dealing with people at their worst time,
Yeah.
God bless you for everything you do
Yes,
there.
they are amazing.
So we're getting down to the nitty gritty of today's Regina Says
Okay.
program. Our 5th episode, by the way. It's at the end of the year. But we've been talking about how this could be the new beginning, not just for the year 2022, but if you don't like the way things are going, say by St. Patrick's Day,
Yeah.
you could still make that change, Regina.
Make that change. And don't be afraid of change. Change is good. Change is something that we have to do. We're evolving as humans, we're evolving as humanity, and we're also evolving in our feelings, our ways of thinking. And evolving doesn't mean that something is better
Right,
or worse.
right.
Evolving means that change. You are changing because you don't wear the same things normal people don't.
I think we're normal.
I just the way I dress in winter is like not as warm as it should be, but you adapt to the new seasons. You adapt to what is to come, and that's always good. If you have children, you have to teach them how to adapt. Stop babying the kids. They can deal with a lot more. One of the things that children have and we have when we are growing up is resilience. That word is amazing. Resilience. Children are resilient,
Yeah, they are.
and they have the capacity to be changed and transformed like that
Right.
very quick. We lose that as we grow,
We
but
do.
we don't have to lose it if we practice it like purposely. I want you to be empowered to make decisions for yourself,
Right.
and look at yourself when you're making them. Look
Right.
at yourself when you're making this decision. Like, be more aware of yourself. That's empowerment.
Yeah, and when you watch the Shriner commercials on TV, and again, seeing a child with cancer or a tumor, whichever, they understand things. So
They do. Children are amazing.
Adults can really take a page out of kids'
We
books.
can, yeah.
But we were kids at one time, Regina.
Yeah, but we were too much. We can relearn. Whatever you can relearn. I don't. How old are you? You said your age at some point, Glenn. What was
My
it?
age? I'm 50. I just turned 59. One
Okay.
more. Yeah, I'm into the Phil Donahue area.
All right. So you're 59, but
Yeah.
you still are. You're changing right now. You're dealing with me. That is something that you have never done before.
No.
So that brings change to your environment, to the things that you're doing, and me equally. So if we look at change with less fear of changing, and we look at change as something that, it just happens and we can make it happen. I think we can.
So one last question. I'm going to put you on the spot now, Regina. And again, this negates everything we just said, but it is the new year. What are you going to do for the new year?
I'm going to be sleeping with my grandbaby.
No. But in addition to that, are you going to make any changes that you could also make in mid-January or sometime or another?
Yeah. Oh no, I'm continually just doing this for this amount of time. That's a change in my life. That's something that I decided it is time to do, and I'm going to do it. And the results are not moving my change. They're not affecting my change. It's this is something that I feel I have to do, and I'm going to continue doing, and many other things that are going to continue happening. I am not good with traditions. Like traditions to me become we slave to traditions.
Yeah, sure.
So many people slave to tradition. You
Right.
have to eat the grapes. You have to do this. You have to do that.
Right.
And I think tradition and superstition are so confabulated together.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe one of the reasons I am so hard with traditions is because people don't think about them. You just do it.
Right.
And things that don't make sense, people are doing.
Right.
Like, I'm like, oh my gosh. So that's why I'm a thinker. And
Well, I mean, again, there are some nice traditions. We put up a Christmas tree. It's sad to take it down. But
I don't put a Christmas tree anymore.
Why is that, Regina?
I stopped putting a Christmas tree before my kids left the house because they did not want to help take it down.
You know what? I totally agree with you because
like-
one of the best days of the year is putting it up. One of the worst days is putting it
Yeah,
down. If
people
people
don't
aren't
want-
going to do that,
Yeah.
I'm with you, Regina.
This is a family. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
how I am.
Right.
And that's the way
Yeah.
I have to be okay with my life.
Yeah.
So, and the things I do, so I don't put it. In my church, they put it, and it's beautiful. The girls do a beautiful
Sure.
job, and
Sure.
it's there. And whenever they feel like take it down, they take it down. I don't know.
Well, I tell you now. Okay, this is our 5th edition of Regina Says. Regina, how can people? Obviously, you have open book on your Facebook page. We're working on a YouTube page as well. But how can people get in contact with you and your church, Regina?
Okay, 315-955-8255. You can text me, call me. Also, we have the restaurant Pan de Vida in Evans Mills next to the train tracks
Yeah.
and the church. We are Nueva Vida Christian Church.
It's amazing because your other location was also next to the train
Next
track.
to
And
the
the
train
way you
tracks.
say that, Regina, it's awesome.
Yes, it's
Well,
awesome.
off camera, we don't see him right now, but Julian, nice meeting you. Julian's here. He's
Yes.
been here throughout the today's program. One last look, of course, at Public Square here just a couple of days before the end of the year, 2021, the 5th edition of Regina Says. Regina, say goodbye to all your fans here.
Bye, 2021 people, and hello, 2022 people.
Hello, 2022. And here's Public Square once again, and thanks for watching, everybody.
Yes. Amen. You behave better, Glenn.
Yeah.
Much better. Julian, tú eres tan